Hey everybody, welcome to today's Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. Hope you've joined with us in our 2024 Bible reading plan. If you haven't, it's definitely not too late to start. It'll take you about a half an hour to catch back up, and you can join us in finishing the Old Testament this year and also reading the New Testament again. Today we are in the book of Ezra, which is maybe the book of the Bible you're not real familiar with. I'm not either, but I've learned a lot already in the first few chapters, and excited to share a little bit with you from Ezra chapter 5. Just to set the stage, again, the people of Israel have been exiled to Babylon for I believe it's 70 years, and they are now given permission to come back to Jerusalem, and they've set about the task of rebuilding the temple, which has been destroyed. And so they're excited, their hearts are in it, they are ready to turn over a new leaf and start over, and not put themselves in a position where God's angry with them again and causes the nations to conquer them again. So there they are, they're working hard, they're working feverishly, and they keep encountering problem after problem. The inhabitants that live in that area are trying to stop them from re-inhabiting the land and rebuilding the temple. And so those inhabitants write a letter to King Darius. And in verse 9, in the letter, they write to Darius and they say, "We ask the leaders of Israel, who gave you permission to rebuild this temple and restore the structure? And we demanded their names so that we could tell you who the leaders were." They're trying to get Darius to say, "You can't build the temple here." This was their answer. Now, listen to their answer. I find it so instructive. It's helpful to me. I hope it is to you as well. "We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth." So first of all, they're saying, you know what? You can tattle all you want to Darius, but we serve the God of heaven. And what a bold answer, to say, you know what, you can go talk to your king. We've got a king that's over your king. It's the God of heaven and earth. And we are rebuilding the temple that was built here many years ago by a great king of Israel. But because, now listen to this. So first of all, they're bold. Second of all, they're honest. Verse 12. "But because our ancestors angered the God of heaven, he abandoned them to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, who destroyed this temple and exiled the people to Babylonia." So they're honest. And they use this as an opportunity really to be a witness, to say, we failed God, we disobeyed, and because of that, we had to suffer the consequences. That's why this temple is in ruins right now. It's why it needs to be rebuilt. So they're bold, then they're honest, and then they're reasonable. Verse 13. "However, King Cyrus of Babylon, during the first year of his reign, issued a decree that the temple of God should be rebuilt." Skipping down to 17. "Therefore, if it pleases the king, we request that a search be made in the royal archives of Babylon to discover whether King Cyrus ever issued a decree to rebuild God's temple in Jerusalem." So they're bold, they're honest, then they're reasonable. They say, you know what, we were given permission. We're following the rules here. We're just doing what we've been told we can do. And lastly, they keep the door open for further conversation. They say, "And let the king send us his decision in this matter." In other words, you know what? Let Darius say. If he says we can rebuild, then good. If he says we can't, well, let's talk some more. And it reminds us of one of our values here at Cornerstone. Let's just keep talking. Let's not close the matter if we don't get the answer that we immediately wanted. Let's keep talking and talk reasonably, and let's see if we can come to an agreement together, to an understanding. I just love this. It really shows me that the Israelites, at least at this point, have learned their lesson and they're handling themselves well. So the next time that you find yourself in a situation where someone's being combative or pushing against the direction that you sense God's leading you, remember this lesson from the Israelites: to be bold, to know that you're serving God, provided that you are serving Him and following Him. And then to be honest, to use it as an opportunity to share a testimony of where you went wrong, who you were, and how that's changed you. And then be reasonable. Don't put your foot down, dig in your heels, be stubborn. Don't use abusive fighting techniques or arguments. But be reasonable. Have a reasonable discussion. And lastly, leave the door open for further conversation. If the conversation doesn't end at that moment, keep talking and see if you can get to a reasonable final answer. Well, I hope that that's helpful for you today, and we'll find out in Ezra chapter 6 how the king responds. Next week, we are going into a different approach to our Bible reading plan or rather our Cornerstone Connections for a few weeks. We're gonna take a break from the Bible reading plan devotionals, but please keep reading so you don't get behind. But instead, we're gonna do a several week series on prayer to help us engage in our prayer life at a deeper level. So looking forward to going through that with you. We'll see you next week at the Cornerstone Connection. Take care.